Hi students, so in this video I'm going to show you how to solve problems involving compound angles. So in order to do this problem you will need two things, a calculator and access to the internet via an iPad or your computer. So here's my given problem, cos of a minus 180. Now I can also write this as cos of, that's 180 degrees, cos of a minus pi. It's one and the same. Pi is in radians, 180 is in degrees. So how do you solve this problem? So go on my website, Further Maths Session 5, and I hope you have watched this lecture explaining to you compound angles. And here's a summary of the lecture. So I'm going to be using these complex compound angle formulae in order to solve this problem. So now I got a cos of a plus b, cos of a minus b. This over here is very similar to cos of a minus b. So I'm going to repeat my formula here. Cos of a minus b equals to cos a cos b plus sine of a sine of b. Now cos of a is it's the same thing over here. So cos of a, you can't really reduce it any further. Now b is 180, so cos of 180 plus sine of a, which is a, and sine of b is again 180. Now cos of 180 and sine 180, these are values which I can solve. So I can use my calculator to solve them. Make sure your calculator is in the correct mode. It's in the degree mode right now. If not, what you can do is to change the mode, that is go to mode, and here it says so shift setup, and here's the degree. You press 3 4 degrees and 4 radians, and I press 3. Now it is in the degree mode, which shows by the small d sign there. So back to the problem. Cos a times cos of 180. So cos 180 close bracket is equal to minus 1. So times minus 1 plus, always remember brackets are important because it's a negative number, plus sine a, now sine 180, sine open sine 180 close bracket equals to 0 times 0. Now as a result of this minus sign, I'm going to keep this aside. As a result of this minus sign, this entire expression goes negative, so that's going to be cos of minus cos of a, because this is cos a times multiplied by minus 1, so minus cos of a plus sine a. So I'm just going to write it down again, minus cos a plus sine a, or it can also be written as sine a minus cos a. Just looks neater because you always you don't really need to write a sign in front of the first expression. So cos of a minus b can be reduced as sine of a minus cos of a. Now I'm going to solve the second part now, cos of a minus pi, which is again very similar. So cos of a minus pi, it's going to be solved in the same way again. So that's going to be cos a cos pi plus sine a sine pi. Now when solving this, make sure that your calculator is in the radian mode, because pi there is a radian. So now what I'm going to do is change my calculator into radian mode. So again press shift mode, 4 is radian, and Now that we have it in the radian mode, I can solve this problem. So cos of pi will be cos pi, shift pi, close, it's going to be -1. Keep this aside here. That's going to be cos a times -1 plus sine a times, I'm just going to change this, repeat this, sine of shift pi, close bracket, will be 0, as times, so that's going to be equal to minus cos a plus sine a, or it's the same as sine a minus cos a. Now once you've finished your work, it is a good practice to verify all of the steps that you have done. And what I'm going to do is check my work now. So cos a, cos b, sin a, sin b, use the formula, that should be alright. Cos a times -1 is minus cos a, sin a times 0 is sin a. Mistake. So I have made a mistake here. Sin a times 0 I have marked as sin a. So please be careful that you do not do this mistake. I'm going to mark it. And now correct it by just cancelling it off. And my final answer will be, there is no sin a. It's going to be minus cos a. Now second bit, cos a, cos pi, sin a, sin pi. Again, I made the same mistake over here. Sin a, so cancel it. And there you go. So this is going to be equal to minus cos of a, and so is this.